It is a different world, and we can reflect some aspects of our world in it, I believe.
Hold on.
So Akiva, I have to ask, you and Alex got to go in and pitch Sir Patrick, which is not an easy thing to do. So when you walk in going, what's the thing that's gonna hook him? Was there an element to it that you thought was the thing?
Yeah, and we were wrong. I mean, he said no.
Mm-hmm.
He
didn't go for the Muppets.
No, he liked the Muppet idea. He didn't like the Muppet that I brought with me. I thought it looked a lot like him.
I thought it could be cool.
You don't know. Who is flying Muppets? Like space flying.
What have you gotten yourself into, Jean-Luc?
He had done a lot with the character and pointedly said, I don't want to do it again. So when we got the first no, we sort of all regrouped and we ended up building this story, which Michael then turned into 35 pages of words, all of which were discarded.
I have an appointment.
Your name, please, sir?
Picard, Picard.
It's nice to see you up and around again.
What was important to me was the knowledge that the last 19 years have brought about such significant changes in our world, on our planet, and for me, in my life as I've got older and older during that time. And I talked with Akiva and Alex and Kirsten about the way in which we could perhaps let these contemporary situations just touch on our story. We're not making political theater.
Right.
I am standing up for the Federation, for what it should still represent.
This is no longer your house, Jean-Luc. Go home.
I think our redoubling our efforts, the thought that went into it, our willingness to move and shape the narrative based on his knowledge of the character and all our desires in the wake of Logan to take a sort of postmodern view of an iconic character, especially one we loved so much, at a time where the central theses of Star Trek couldn't be more useful and necessary. I think that sort of was an invitation to come play, and we fooled him. And so off we've been playing.
Would you like to finish it, Captain?
I don't know how.
That is not true, sir.
To look at this man with a storied career who's been so important to his world, who's so widely known, who's revered and respected, and has done so much, and then to look at him at a period where he feels that that's all behind him, and to have him suddenly have that trajectory interrupted abruptly and watch that man who has meant so much and has felt like his life in some sense was over, re-engage with the world, re-engage with history, re-engage with his own legacy.
You really want to go back out into the cold?
More than ever.
This basically picks up from story threads from Nemesis, which is really interesting.
Well, the story exists in a continuum of that, and it exists in a continuum of our 2009 Star Trek movie. But those really are backstory points that you don't have to have seen in order to watch this show. We did not want to repeat character arcs and things that had happened before. They have informed Picard, for sure, and they make him who he is. But Patrick was really insistent on breaking new ground for the character, and it's now 20 years after Nemesis. And part of, I think, what's fun for the audience is figuring out, wait, what happened?
The hell are you doing out here, Picard? Saving the galaxy?
Jeri, I know with Nemesis, you declined to participate just because it didn't make sense for Seven at all. But strangely, Nemesis is very important in terms of the carryover in this story. And so what was the pitch from Akiva and Alex that was interesting to you and felt organic to having Seven back?
Well, actually, for both of us, our experience with hearing about this the first time was different than everybody else. It didn't come from Akiva and Alex. This was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
We were at the Hollywood Bowl, as we do, because we're friends outside of this.
As people in Hollywood do.
Yeah. And our friend James Duff, who was one of the original producers, said, okay, after several glasses of champagne, here's what I'm thinking. I want to bring Seven back. And Hugh. And I just kind of laughed it off, and I thought, yeah, that's really funny. He goes, no, I'm serious.
Who are you looking for?
Someone who has no one else to help her.
I was like, yeah, nobody needs to be back in that cat suit right now. We just don't need to be doing that. He said, no, it's not like that. She's, she's more human now. She's been on Earth for 20 years. She's been through this and this and this. And he had all these amazing ideas that sounded really interesting. Cut to the Creative Arts Emmys a couple years ago. Yeah, last year, I think, when they presented an award to Star Trek. And I was lined up backstage behind Alex Kurtzman, and he said, so, I understand you talked to James. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about Seven in the writer's room. I was like, what? It's really happening?
What was the persuasive argument in terms of having you in this bring the character back?
I was going to do a play in London when they called, and the dates clashed. So I passed. And then Alex called me, and I said, I know why you're calling me, but the dates clash. Well, can't you send on an understudy? And I said, well, I don't have an understudy because it's my face on the poster. So I couldn't. Jean-Luc. I thought the characters were dead and buried, I have to be honest. I didn't think I'd ever resuscitate Deanna Troi. What gave me a really warm feeling was that they were so anxious that we do it that they found a way to make it work.
So when that happens, do you have a conversation with Jonathan about do we both want to do this?
They know me,
yeah.
Right? Before I can say no, usually, they always say, Jonathan said yes, because they know I love working with Jonathan. And so they didn't have to say that this time. I knew Jonathan had said yes, because they approached us at the same time. The only conversation I had with Jonathan was about money. What are you getting? Okay, I want that.
We kind of jumped in slightly blind because there was no, everyone did really, even Patrick, right? All you knew is who was involved, which were all geniuses, and Patrick.
Rough ideas of what characters might
basic,
be like. But
they were scripts they were working on till right up until the start of the show. So we came ready. I think everyone, really everyone, the actors, the crew, all the artisans, everyone said yes to work on Star Trek and to work with Patrick.
Hello, Will.
I was actually thrilled that it was me, Jonathan, and Patrick. It would have been nice if there had been a few others thrown in as well, but that obviously wasn't the case. But on the last day of filming, Michael Dorn and LeVar came to visit the set, and it got real loud real fast.
We did not want to bring characters back just to bring them back. We wanted to make sure that the story could not tell itself without those characters. And we went in pretty agnostically from the beginning, with no agenda about who we were bringing in or not bringing in. But as we started breaking the season, it became very clear, Riker would be perfect here, Troi would be perfect here, Seven would be perfect here. And they came organically from a place of story need, not, hey, let's just throw some characters in that everybody loved, because I think as a fan, that would be kind of disappointing.
Thank you for not trying to talk me out of all this.
Believe me, I know better.
What's great is these actors are the gatekeepers also of their characters, and it wasn't just they're circling the building to be in it. I think to their credit, they wanted to know, what are we doing
How are we honoring their legacies?
Right, and why should that character be in the show?
So did it feel like it was walking back into what you knew, or was it different?
Not at all.
This was terrifying.
Yeah.
This was terrifying. Once I got
she was scared.
It was so different, and the voice was what I was hanging up on, because I couldn't find Seven's voice. I help people who have no one else to help them. Especially in a franchise like this, where the fans are so passionate and so loyal and so well versed on every detail. You don't want to screw it up. You want to be loyal to this character. You want to be loyal to the fans. You need to do it justice. And Johnny actually saved me, God bless him. He had already gone through this whole process with his own character. And so he came over and I made lunch and we read through the scenes for like 2 hours ad nauseum. And he finally threw out this one little tidbit that I think is so simple and I should have seen it right away. He said, what if it's a conscious choice to be as human and to sound as human as possible? That was it. That was just like flicking a switch.
What I really enjoyed, and was what I enjoyed about TNG the most, was that I was working with my best friends. I mean, when people ask me, what do you miss about doing Star Trek? I'm like, I miss seeing my buddies every day and hanging out with them and laughing and having lunch together and, working together.
I don't want the game to end.
I can see that, Captain.